Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to day 4 of the first National New Educational Paradigm Online Conference. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. And I further bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the exalted Christ, and Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is a divine reminder, leader, teacher, guide, and so much more. I'd like to welcome you all back to another edition of the New Educational Paradigm. And of course, this is the online conference, and this is the last day. I thank you all who have continued to join us, and we apologize for any of the technical problems and glitches that we've had to overcome. But by Allah's grace and permission, we have not allowed those things to stop us. And as I said, this is day 4, so I pray that all of you all have been able to have an opportunity to catch up with the previous days of the conference, and that you're ready to go ahead and get started with us. Of course, we have Sister Deborah, who is with us today, and we're going to allow her to start us off with our thank yous.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who appeared to us in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. And I further bear witness that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is indeed the eternal leader of the nation of Islam and has been exalted to the position of Christ. And I bear witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our divine reminder, divine warner, and divine mercy in our midst. I'd like to greet you all with the greeting words of peace, of Assalamu alaikum. And as Brother Troy said, welcome to our 4th and final day of the first National New Educational Online Conference. And what we would like to do is, before we go a little bit further, Brother Trump, getting a little feedback on the line. We would like to, of course, give our thanks. We can never thank Allah enough for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his guidance to us in this endeavor. We thank him. We eternally thank Allah for him and for what he has given to us, because he has indeed given our lives direction and purpose. And we are so thankful to him, thankful to Allah for making him for us as someone that's a mercy in a time of trouble. We would like to thank the Executive Council of the Nation of Islam for their support in this endeavor. We would like to especially thank Student Minister Ava Muhammad, because she's the liaison to the Saviours Day ministry workshops. And she has been such a support to all of the ministry workshops, including the Ministry of Education workshop, Saviours Day 2016, going into Saviours Day 2017. We would like to thank all of the participants who have in every way participated to make this happen. Those that you see and those that you don't see. We thank you all. There are many that we could name, but that would take up more time than what we have allotted for this. And we would like to thank the presenters, those who have presented. We have had such great feedback on the presenters that we've had for these 3 past days in the conference, and the information has just been phenomenal. The willingness to work together on this assignment has been phenomenal, and we thank you all so very much for everything that you've done, for taking time out of your busy schedules and, you know, just making it happen. And that's really what, if anything that we could take away from this conference, that we can come together. We don't need outside intervention. We don't need necessarily anyone to hold our hands to do this. We've been given everything that we need to be successful. All we have to do is believe in ourselves and fear not. So we thank you all for everything that you've done. And we, of course, thank you, the viewers, for tuning in. We've had, I would consider, a great deal of success. On the YouTube channel, we probably have had at least about 100 or more people who have subscribe to the YouTube channel. And by Allah's grace and permission, we don't intend to stop. We intend to keep moving forward. So we would like for you all to make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, so that way whenever we have new videos that come out, you will be the first to get them. So at this time, I would like to, of course, turn it back over to my co-chair, Brother Troy, so that he can continue with this portion of the program.
Thank you, Sister Deborah. And we basically want to just kind of do a summary of those who have presented over the past few days. And of course, I can never thank those who have made the sacrifice in their times, as Sister Deborah did, all of those individuals who have helped to make this a reality. And so we go back to the opening on the conference, which was on last Friday. And we had an opening with Sister Deborah and I, and kind of just welcoming you into the conference that we had planned on being a total of 3 days. And of course, with technical problems, it didn't flow as we anticipated, but indeed, we know that Allah is the best knower. So we had, of course, our star of the opening evening, which was Sister Ava Muhammad, and she presented on the root of the new educational paradigm, the root of a new educational system in the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the importance of the study guides and self-improvement in this new educational paradigm. Just really looking at this process of a new educational paradigm, it has to include the study guides. It has to include us looking at ourselves and striving to become better. And then we had, going into day 2, we had the wonderful panel discussion, which we had once again Sister Ava on the panel discussion. We had Brother Jason Kareem from MUI in Chicago, Brother Nuri, the student minister of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in Indianapolis. And we had Brother Dr. Ridgely Muhammad, who is over the Ministry of Agriculture from Georgia, Brownwood, Georgia. And of course, we can't thank our brother Shad enough for him facilitating that and working with the different issues that we had during the panel discussions. But he did a wonderful job just working through it and making sure that panel discussion kept on moving, and that even in the midst of those challenges, he kept it smooth. So we definitely appreciate him, not just the presenters from the panel, but that moderator, because he definitely brought a very special element to that presentation. And we look forward to working with him, of course, again. Then we came into day 3 with Dr. Wesley Muhammad and his presentation on an education of the gods, the history of ancient educational systems, and the supreme wisdom lessons, and just really began to talk about what that process of becoming a god is, and just that we have to always reflect and remember that this process that we're going through is a process that there hasn't been anyone that's gone through a process similar to this in a very, very long time. And this process of us becoming a god is unlike any process in terms of its entirety. We can look at of course, as he mentioned, that this new process that we're going through is actually a return of the old process, but we know that in this present day and time that there's definitely some new elements. So we appreciate that presentation. We had Brother Abdul Wahid and Brother Rashid Muhammad, and they talked about the formation of a new government of peace and how that's connected to the 9 systems of the body and the value and importance of these 9 ministries. Of course, we have a special affinity towards the Ministry of Education, but we know the reality is until we get all of these ministries running, then none of them can actually effectively fulfill its goals without utilizing each other. We had our wonderful Sister Tracy, also in Phoenix, Arizona, who talked about the revolution, Let the Revolution Begin, a cultural center and library, purity of the world. And of course, we were able to hear from originally we were supposed to have Brother Carlos on day 3. We actually did have Brother Carlos on day 3. And he actually brought us home with looking at the history of Muhammad University of Islam in the school system. So I'm going to pass it back over to Sister Deborah, who will talk more about not what we've already done, but kind of a little snapshot on where we're going from here.
Thank you, Brother Troy. Well, of course, you know, the question always is, whenever we have conferences and workshops, the question always becomes, what is next? Because it's nice to feel good and have a warm and fuzzy feeling when we do something, you know, that is innovative, that is, you know, cutting edge. And it's always where we have to consider what is the next thing. So in putting on this workshop, even before it was actually launched, it came live, we started to consider what are some of the things that we need to do next as a Ministry of Education. And after consulting with several people, of course, we are looking at, in terms of conference-wise, we're looking at the next thing being human resources. In the Nation of Islam, we have believers that have every skill that is necessary to run any governmental agency, to really, as we're called, the Nation of Islam, to run a sovereign nation. So we have to identify the various skills, gifts, and talents that will be necessary to run an effective and an efficient Ministry of Education. Now, a lot of people think that, you know, if I'm a part of the Ministry of Education, then I must be an educator. But we have to understand that a ministry is not a school, is not just a school institution. It is a governmental institution that facilitates the running and operating of schools and school systems. So in identifying different skills and talents that we will need things from financiers. We'll need people that have technical skills. We need people that have accounting skills. We need people that are graphic artists, that may be logistics. Who knows? Even in the future, we may, by Allah's grace and permission, have enough funding for this project that we can actually have schematics drawn for different styles of schools based upon where be placed. And we'll have a group of construction engineers and contractors and carpenters and whatnot to build these various structures. So, you know, everything. And then, of course, if you listen to what I'm saying, really, it's the ministries that will help build each other. So the Ministry of Education will need the Ministry of Information. The Ministry of Education will need Trade and Commerce. So, you know, we have to look at interconnecting these particular entities, but each ministry has to have its own human resource department. So we're going to, with the help of Allah, begin to start identifying people who have various skills and talents. And then, of course, before we move out in the Nation of Islam, before we execute any drill movement, we always look first before we execute. So we don't move out without the express instructions and permission of leadership. So we will identify the various components that are necessary to put together this Ministry of Education in terms of human resources. And then we'll present it to, of course, our Executive Council. And then from the Executive Council, it will go to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is the director of the Muhammad University of Islam. So we have lots of things that we have to do. We've identified lots of areas that we need to work in as it relates to education in particular. We need curriculum designers. We need textbook writers. We need publishers. Let's see some of the things, other things that we had. Brother Troy, can you remember some of the other different areas that we were looking at working in? Well, while Brother Troy is thinking,
I guess
okay.
the thing is that when we talk about Ministry of Education, we're talking about a whole world. So it covers all of the ministries: health and human services, agriculture. Of course, we can't leave out the fine arts and the arts and culture. That this is also a cultural revolution. So all aspects of the ministries are definitely needed. And anything that you can think of, any gift, skill, and talent that you can think of, we can utilize it in the Ministry of Education. One of the things that we really stress the importance of us knowing and looking at that we're talking about something new. So when we think about educators, everybody that knows something, has learned something, that means that they also have something to teach. And we want to learn from everybody's experiences and bring the wealth of knowledge and experiences to present to our communities.
Okay, well, some of the things that we want to look at as well, which will come up in the presentations that will follow, are looking ahead towards Saviours Day 2017. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan once again wants the nation to focus on building and organizing the ministries. So with Allah's help, we will also be once again putting on or coordinating the workshop for Saviours Day. So we have something that we believe that is going to be very beneficial to all the members of the Nation of Islam, both registered and non-registered, that we will be presenting at Saviours Day. And we'll talk more about that later on in the program today. And I think at this time, what we would like to do is move into what is happening immediately after today. And we are in the process of launching a campaign. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, when he spoke at Christ Universal Temple, the lecture that gave birth to Study Guide 21, the last study guide that we have, it is the educational challenge. Now, we are looking at launching a campaign that is dealing with achieving the educational challenge. The minister put it forth to us, but of course, he knew that we actually could achieve the educational challenge. But what we have to do as believing members, believing citizens of the Nation of Islam, is to come together and not only accept the challenge, but we have to overcome anything that might be an obstacle to this new educational paradigm. So we have a 21-day campaign that we will be launching. And this beautiful graphic that you should see on the page is a graphic that one of our dear brothers, Brother Rodney Assad Muhammad out of Phoenix, Arizona, put together for us. And of course, we're taught that the purpose of education is to make us into gods. So in order to become God, you have to improve self. So it's the self-improvement 21-day educational challenge, developing the God within. This campaign will be launched beginning December 31st, and it will go for 21 days, corresponding with the 21 of the 21st study guide, and it will end on January 21st of 2017. The purpose of this particular challenge, if you will, is to begin to start developing the God potential within, developing the God within. And so we are going to be asking each one of us who are watching this and those who are not watching to participate in this, this challenge, if you will. And what we will do, we will lay out, by Allah's grace and permission, and with the guidance of Student Minister Ava, lay out a 21-day plan, and we will have that plan posted on our website, The Collective, www.thecollective9.org, and you will be able to go to that website on this upcoming Wednesday, and you can start planning how you're going to achieve the educational challenge. At this time, I would like to turn it back over to Brother Troy, and he will discuss further about the program that we, with Allah's help, will be implementing for all of us to be improved, be closer to developing the God within ourselves over this next 21-day period starting December 31st. Brother Troy?
I think you kind of covered it all. There's not much more that we want to share right now, except that we hope that you're looking forward not only to the educational challenge that we shall, by Allah's permission, overcome, but this is out of the spirit, of course, of the Ministry of Education, but also that course of study that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan put us on and never took us out, which is self-improvement, the basis for community development. I hope everybody's looking forward to the study guides being released, God willing, during Saviours Day, which is shortly coming amongst us, and that we're preparing for this whole new everything, this whole new paradigm of not just education, but the way that we think and the way that we do what we do. So I encourage you to dust those study guides off, and you can start getting ready now by just kind of reviewing and looking over. Maybe check out that introductory letter of the study guides, but we definitely want to make sure that we're implementing and putting into place whatever will help to support us, not only overcoming the challenge that we identified during this 21-day period, but we know that success breeds success. So we expect, by Allah's permission, us beginning to challenge ourselves more. And by this process, we'll see that we can have whatever degree of success we have in this, that we want to make sure that this is not just for 21 days. This is just that jump start so that we can get up and begin to move at a quicker and quicker pace.
Okay, thank you, Brother Troy. At this time, we would like to introduce the speakers that we'll have today. Today we'll have reports. From Saviours Day 2016, we had several initiatives that we came up with as a organizing committee, and we have 3 people that will be reporting out on the projects that we have started. And we will have reports from Sister Dorothy J. Muhammad out of Baltimore, Maryland, Sister Kavan Muhammad out of Fort Worth, Texas. And just to put a little note in that, there's an incident that has happened, I believe, with the 7-year-old black male in the public, well, he's not in the public school system, but being choked and really assaulted by a white police officer. And when the mother tried to defend her son, she was arrested, as well as when her other child, her daughter, tried to defend the mother, that she also was assaulted. So, this is the reason why we really have to get up and do something for ourselves, because we can no longer continue to allow people to treat us like this, allow people to continually disrespect us. As the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, a man that won't treat you right surely won't teach you right. So we have to get up and do something for ourselves. So Sister Kavan is in Fort Worth, Texas, and from what I understand, this has become a very large issue that is in front of us right now, and we have to address this. And it's by no coincidence that we are talking about this educational challenge, challenging us to get up and do something for ourselves, to educate ourselves, and to, as the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, do something for self or suffer the consequences. We also have Sister Latifa Muhammad, who will be reporting out on a project, an ongoing project that we have with the Ministry of Education. Then after that, we have the group called the Drop Squad. The Drop Squad will be presenting a new video that is entitled The New Paradigm, and it's a hot new video for everyone to enjoy, because culture is part of education, and music, and all of these are vehicles of education that reach people in different places and at different levels. So we're really excited about the Drop Squad today. And then we'll have presentations. We have a presentation from Imam Sultan Rahman Muhammad, and he'll be speaking on a government of peace, a spiritual education for a nation of gods. Then we'll have Brother Dr. Anthony Muhammad, and he is known around the world. You can catch him on YouTube, and he speaks on changing school cultures. He'll speak today on the change factor, setting the mind for a new educational paradigm, because that's one of the biggest issues that we have is change. People by nature do not like change. We like things to remain the same. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan at a educational conference spoke to us, and he said one of the things that he knows about this change factor is that the parents will have the most difficult time in changing, accepting something that is new. So we have to navigate changing from one paradigm to the next. And one thing I want to say about paradigm shifts, oftentimes we think that a paradigm shift has something to do with, changing the world in terms of perhaps even turning the earth inside out, and all of a sudden everything becomes new again. The paradigm shift actually occurs within you. Is when your perception changes about what you have always seen in front of you anyway. And so this new educational paradigm is not a change on the outside, it's a change from within. And so that's why we want to really challenge us in the next 21 days, starting December 31st, to change our perspective about what we have, what we've been given of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, with the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, so that we can start seeing things as they are. And after that, we have Brother Shahid Muhammad, affectionately known as the Math Doctor. He will be speaking on the Cuban Ministry of Education, a model to study. Now, he was told to, or given the task of studying the Cuban educational model, and he will bring us information regarding that, how we can study it. And we have a presentation from Brother Frederick Douglass, and he, soon to be Dr. Frederick Douglass, he will be speaking to us about his experience in bringing the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to his college classroom and the course that he teaches at the college classroom, talking about the Black man in America. Dr. Abu Petrie, he will be also speaking to us on institutionalizing the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Sister Dr. Tony Muhammad will speak to us on the Ministry of Education and online education as a powerful platform to be able to launch this new educational paradigm from. And Brother Kamal Rashad, he'll be speaking from the perspective of unifying all the different communities together so that we can achieve the same goal of bringing in this new educational paradigm. And yours truly will be given a presentation on the Supreme Wisdom Curriculum. What is it? So at this time, I would like to turn it back over to Brother Troy so he can bring us to a close of this part of our conference. May Allah bless all of us with the light of His understanding as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Sister Deborah. Wa alaikum salam. And just to close out, of course, I hope you're excited about all of those presenters that are coming. Make sure you go to, if you're watching from the collective9.org site, there's a video that will show up after it finishes doing whatever it's doing right now. It'll show up right up under this video. And if you're watching from YouTube, make sure that you subscribe, and as soon as it is up and available, you will get, by Allah's permission, you'll get a notification. So we're actually having, once again, this is one of those reasons, and Dr. Ridgely talked about it in the discussion, in the panel discussion, is that this system is not controlled by us, but the reality is self-improvement is indeed the basis for community development. So as we are moving forward, creating a new world for ourselves, we have to know that all of the systems that we have, all of the infrastructure that we have to be in control of it, so that we can make sure that we're in total control of our destiny. So as soon as the next presentations are up and available, you'll be able to, once again, if you subscribe and you get notifications, you'll get an email sent to you. We'll actually try to send one out to you if you have registered up to this point. And of course, you can always check back at the collective, the number 9.org. Thank you all for all of your participation. If you haven't had a chance to see all of the presentations, of course, you can see those on the YouTube channel as well as the collective9.org. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for all of your support. Assalamu alaikum.